Okay. My camera had to like reset and everything. It only does 30-minute videos, and when I do 4K at 60 frames, 360. Probably don't even need this 360 right now because there's nothing over here. But for some reason, it only allows me to do 60 frames per second when I have it on 360 mode. But whatever. So yeah, so then they just grab the tiny screw with the screwdriver, and then they literally just kind of hold your head and push in there like quite forcefully and start screwing in like that. I feel like to me that was the most scary part because even though I knew that nothing bad was gonna happen and that it wasn't gonna be like super painful or uncomfortable because of the anesthetic, something something in my body was just telling me something in my body was just telling me like, or my brain or whatever, like this isn't right, like this should not be happening, like. But I feel like that's just like a part of our brain that keeps us safe, that keeps us from doing stupid dumb things. And in this case, I knew it wasn't a dumb thing, I knew it wasn't bad, I knew it was going to be good for me. But it's still like just the mental turmoil that it has caused, and it's I still like it's like it is a traumatic experience slightly, not even gonna lie to you. Maybe for somebody else they don't care, but for me, I care very much about my body, and I'm very meticulous about it. So I don't know. It's you only have one body in this life. So yeah. So when he opened my mouth and just started screwing in there like that, it was definitely kind of scary. But he did the front two, and he didn't put him in all the way. He's a smart guy because you never wanna. Whenever you're I do a lot of construction. I do a lot of repair. I know how to work with screws and stuff and bolts. You never want to tighten any one of them all the way down on the first one because you're just getting your position right. So you want to kind of just push them in there halfway, and then you want to firmly set them in there, and then you want to give them the final crank, which is what he did. He put the first two in just kind of like halfway, and then he did the back two, and put them in halfway, and then he pulled out a ratchet, a I don't even know if they're called reciprocating ratchets, but the ones that click, like the ones that go that you use to work on cars, that I use to work on cars, that I use on construction, that I use to build things with, to dig into wood, metal. That's what he used on my face to push the screws into my face. And he said, "Okay, if you feel any pain, let me know." And I said, "Okay." And the front two were absolutely painless. I felt nothing. The back two, I'm not even gonna lie, this left back one, man, it wasn't painful, but man, I could feel it going into my bone. I could feel it, and then maybe I didn't mention this yet, but the front two, like I said, perfect, nothing even noteworthy. They were almost irrelevant. But the back two, they were squeaking. They were squeaking. I don't know if it was the metal on metal that was squeaking. I don't think metal on metal squeaks. I think it was the screws going into my bones, into my into my bones, guys. It was squeaking. It sounded like how can I describe squeaking? It sounded like I'm trying to think of a good comparison. I can't. It there's no comparison to that squeak. It sounds like if you've ever drilled into like wood, and it's not it's I and it's like I don't know if it's the wood's like really strong or I don't know what it is, but some wood when you go into it, it like really grabs the screw really tight, and so as you pull it out, it kind of goes like "Ee, ee, ee, ee." Like it literally oh you know what it sounds like? It sounds like if you've ever heard like a tree branch like swinging, like a big tree branch, and not the sound of the swing, but the sound of like when the branches kind of like squeak because it's so heavy and you can hear the wood like kind of like squeaking. It goes like you know like that squeak from the wood. That's exactly what it sounds like when they're drilling the screws into your upper palate. And so they're like squeak, 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 squeak. And he's using the ratchet going, and then he told me, you know, if I feel anything, and I like I said this back when I did start to feel a little bit, and I said ow, but he just kept going, which is fine, honestly. Like, just get it over with. If I would have felt significant pain, I would have definitely been like, give me some more shit or some more juice. Sorry, guys. Excuse my French. But um, yeah. So then, um, so yeah, he finished with the ratchet on the back one, the other side. And then I didn't really feel too much after that. I'm not even gonna lie. He just kind of finished pressing them down. The most uncomfortable ones were, like I said, the back two. But once those were done, the front two I didn't even feel. Kind of just got them in there on the right place. And that was it. We were done. Um, the whole procedure, like if I'm not in, like I guess including waiting time from like lidocaine, I think it was an hour at the longest. I think if not like 45 minutes. Um, the lidocaine waiting for it was about 15 minutes of that, 10 minutes of that, and then there's like a couple minutes like that you're just standing there kind of like just waiting for the doctor for it to be your turn and this and that. So I mean overall it was like 45 minutes. It's really not a bad experience. It's very quick. Like it took me way longer to explain it to you guys and break it down than the actual experience took. Um, yeah. Oh, I guess the last thing that the doctor showed me. You guys need to. It's not mandatory, but I really recommend you guys bring somebody with you when they install MSE on you guys. Or you know anybody that gets MSE because you have to turn it, obviously, right? If you know what MSE is, to expand your upper palate. And then he was just saying that like some people, you know, they hear like a pop or whatever, or some people don't hear a pop. Some people it just separates. But that's really what happens. Your upper palate, like the suture up here, it separates, and so they have to turn it. And so, since I brought somebody there, they brought my uncle in there, and while I was still laying down on the table, they showed him how to turn it. I have to turn it twice every day for me. Everybody's a little different, so don't do what I do unless that's what your doctor says to do. Um, but yeah, so I have to do it twice every day, and so he showed him how to do that. From what I understand, you put the key at the very front right here, and then I guess let me show you guys the key. Right, I have the key. If I can find where I set it down. So yeah, I don't know where I was at, guys, but basically, I was gonna show you guys the key, right? Hold on, guys. Okay. So here's the key. So it's literally just this tiny little piece of metal that is like a wrench. You see, it's got like a hex head on there, and it has this little rubber like string. Well, not string, but like what would I call it? It's like a rubber. Um, like a holder or like a. It's basically it's like a security device, so that you put it. You're supposed to put it around your finger like this. The person turning it, obviously, right? You're supposed to put this on there like this, and then you can go ahead and turn it in your mouth. The reason that you're supposed to do this is because this tiny little thing, if you're got your mouth open and you're turning it and you drop it, I mean, number one, you're gonna swallow it and probably choke on it. Number two, let's say you swallow it and you don't choke on it, that's a really bad issue. Like now you got to worry about passing a piece of metal through your gut. And then on top of that, now you can't even turn your appliance. So now you're doubly screwed. So yeah, definitely make sure to put it on your finger. And yeah, so you turn it. Me twice a day. You guys are gonna have a different amount probably. From what I hear, it's actually pretty common to do once a day or actually even less. Like once every other day or once every 2 days. But yeah, so I got two keys. This one, and this one, and they come in this little thing right here. There it is. And then I guess the last thing that I'll show you guys before I kind of end the video is my teeth. So obviously ignore like these gaps right here because that's just where they like sanded it out to see if the bands were gonna fit, right? So just imagine that there is gums here and that there's not these giant gaps here because that's not how my mouth is. But this is pretty much what my mouth looks like on the inside right now. It's not the worst palette. It's because I last night I saw a video of this guy who has a really like high arched and narrow palate, and it's like his teeth are super crowded, and there's like it's really like up like this, you know, like narrow and high up. So my palate actually looks kind of healthy right here. The only part is that I should have had a palate expander when I was a kid, because as you can see, I mean, you guys probably, I don't know how well educated you are about this, but I guess if you're looking at a video like this, you're interested in stuff like this. Um, if you can look right about here, you can see that my palate actually should have been like about here, like about like where my finger, like where my arm is right now, or my hand. It really should have been more expanded left, more expanded right, and a little bit more forward. So my real palate should have been something like that, right? Now, unfortunately, since I never got a palate expander before I was 16, um, you can't, before, you couldn't even do anything about it, right? You either have to have teeth pulled, which is what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to pull these ones, my first premolars, pull them out so that we can make space for my canines right here and basically pull. But like if you take a look, my canines almost fit in. This one a little less, right? But in reality, we only need like about 4 millimeters of space total. And they wanted me to remove teeth for that, and that just was absolutely not necessary. But yeah, anyways, like I said, if I would have gotten the palate expander when I was before I was 16, you don't even got to deal with any of this. I think that's really the biggest lesson, the biggest takeaway from any of this is, guys, if you're watching this or if you know somebody that is younger than 16 and you know that they need to get orthodontic treatment, braces, teeth looked at, whatever, go to the dentist. Go to the doctor right away. The sooner you go, the better. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to do it anyways, no matter what. If you do it now or you do it later, you're going to have to do it. So you might as well get it over with. And the sooner you go, the better. The less pain, the less everything. If I would have gone before I was 16, they wouldn't even have needed to inject me with anything. There would have been no shots. All they do is they put a soft palate expander, which is like what I have now, but it's a soft one. They call it soft because they don't implant anything. It just goes in there and it just pushes on your teeth and your gums and your bones. And since you're young and growing and your palate hasn't fused, your suture hasn't fused, it just pushes on it and it grows naturally because that's what we're doing when we're young. We grow. And unfortunately, I am too old for that. So before, the only things that they offered, the only treatments that they offered was something called, I think it's SARPI, which is surgically assisted rapid palatal expansion. Um, Dang, I'm not even gonna lie, guys. It's starting to hurt quite bad. The lidocaine's starting to wear away, and there is starting to be some discomfort up there. It's starting to make my head hurt. But so yeah, so um, in SARPI, basically what they do is kind of like how this diagram is. They literally come up here and they cut with a blade, with a saw blade. They cut up here. Where's my watch one? Um, wow, the pain's getting quite intense, guys. Um, they come up here with a saw blade and they cut right here, and then they cut like this along the vertical, and basically they can move your jaw forward, back, left, right, open it, close it, move it forward, whatever. But it's a very, very, very aggressive procedure. They they literally cut your face this way, back to like right here, to your ears, and then they cut down like this, from like right above where your nose is at, right below it actually, down all the way back. And that's a surgical procedure. You have to be fully asleep for that, obviously. But that was the only treatment for adults with sleep apnea, narrow airways, narrow palatal arch. That was the only treatment that they allowed. That was that worked. That was effective. They do have soft palatal expanders for adults, but they have been shown to not work. They just move your teeth. Um. So yeah, with MSE, they just put four tabs, one screw here, one screw there, one screw here, one screw here, and they just push your palate apart left to right, and eventually it splits right there, and there starts to be a gap right here. So that's actually what we're looking for. In my front teeth, right here, we're gonna create a gap. And once we start making that gap, we're gonna make it bigger and bigger until we can fit my canines in there. And that's how it works. Unfortunately, there will be no forward expansion as far as I'm concerned, or at least it'll be minimal. So I'll never be able to like fully like fix, because I'm not gonna get surgery probably for it. Like my nose, you see how it is, and my jaw should be a little more forward, but that's okay. I'll at least be able to breathe. I won't have any more like um um what is it called, um posture problems. I'll be able to have proper posture. Um, so yeah, overall it's a good thing. It's been about what, an hour Let me see what time it is. It's been about an hour and a half, 2 hours since I went. And there is starting to be some pain, guys. There is definitely starting to be some pain. And it's definitely quite uncomfortable. I feel like the most uncomfortable part is probably the headache that I'm getting. Because it's definitely a pain. Definitely a pain. We're gonna see how intense this pain gets, guys. I'm also kind of like really like energized and hyped up right now from like the whole experience, so that's definitely not helping with my blood pressure and everything. I feel like I'm probably just gonna have to get off the video and just kind of relax for a little bit, kind of walk around, do something, drink some cold water or something, because it's starting to hurt quite bad. Ooh, yeah, there's starting to be some pain, but you gotta be tough in life. What other choice do I have? Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna end the video like that. I'm gonna probably get back to you in a couple hours, and we can see you. I'll update like where my pain is at, where my discomfort's at, and they recommended that I take like some anti-inflammatories like naproxen, Tylenol, whatever. We're gonna see how that works out. Right now I'm currently just trying to deal with the pain. It's not that bad, guys, don't get me wrong, but it's I mean, when you should have done this 10 years ago or something like that, you know, there's other reasons for the pain. My teeth are really crowded and stuff, but anyways, I gotta get off the video because my head's starting to hurt. I can't even talk about this shit anymore. Yeah, guys, I think there's still more pain coming because my palate's still numb. I can still feel it numb. So once it becomes fully sensitized, this is gonna freaking suck. But yeah. Oh, that's painful. Okay, guys, signing off. See ya.